am ready to come back to YouTube. And I thought that for the first video for returning, a good one would be to basically sum up why I left, where I've been, what has happened. A lot has happened, by the way, which we will go over. I'm not going to drag this out into a lot of videos on different topics. I'm just basically, I've been thinking about how I want to like organize this video, and I have a really bad tendency of rambling, which I'm kind of doing right now. I jump all over the place and I want it to make sense, so I'm just going to start at the beginning. First, I'm gonna go over why I stopped filming. I'm gonna go over my mental health and where I was, the journey so far over the last year, where I've been, where I am now, because that's a big part of it too. I had a baby. Yeah, I went through a whole pregnancy and had a baby, and she's 8 months already. And there's a lot to unpack with that one too. So that's gonna be its own section. And then my new job. I got another job, and this one I don't work in the house anymore remotely. I actually go into an office 5 days a week and I work. I would like to talk about where I see this channel is headed and my hopes and aspirations for this channel and what I'd like to do. I hope that this video is okay because I'm filming it on my phone. I don't know why I charged my batteries from my camera, and of course when I sat down it's not turning on. Let's go ahead and start with the first topic on why I left. Periodically for the last 6 years, I have had a remote job. It's project-based, and so sometimes I have work and sometimes I don't. And I was informed that I had a lot of work coming up. Financially, I needed to go in that direction and focus on work. So I started working about like almost 40 hours a week and just figuring it out with the kids. I brought a new babysitter on to play with Jude while Dorian was at home in session, because I noticed that like Jude needed a lot of attention too. Found out I was pregnant, which is a lot. But yeah. Essentially, that is the main reason I left. It's not because I didn't like YouTube or I wasn't enjoying filming. Honestly, I was overwhelmed. I was extremely overwhelmed, and I just knew I had to prioritize one over the other because I was not able to handle both. A kid with special needs and an additional child, which I don't know if I've told you, or if it's happened between the last video and this video, but Jude was also diagnosed. He has ADHD. So it just was a lot, and unfortunately, I had to drop YouTube. That was the first section. So mental health, because I did have a small mental health journey while working before I got pregnant. Long story short, I had to go through a bunch of meds. I'm sure if any of you are taking meds for anxiety, you know the struggle. There's not a one pill fits all. You have to figure it out. And so I was just when I would think about restarting YouTube, I was just on a bunch of different meds and I just didn't feel right. Like I was gaining weight, or I was feeling like ultra nervous, just not feeling myself, feeling very overwhelmed. That was a big one for me, as I was feeling just so overwhelmed that I didn't know how to like handle all of it. And so while I was working remotely, I was growing a baby. I couldn't make sense of it. And then I got pregnant and I had to get off of the medication, which I was really nervous. Then let's move on to pregnancy. We were trying to have a baby because I'm sure like a lot of other moms, your kids get a little older and then you have that brilliant idea like, hey, my life is somewhat normal. I could totally bring a baby into this mix. Well, that just changed the entire dynamic, which I'm actually in her room. The pregnancy was hard, and you're not allowed to take those medications when you're pregnant. So I was nervous about that, and I had to wean myself off, and they told me it was best that I do it earlier than later. For the pregnancy, well, the pregnancy was rough. I didn't take into account that I'm at the later end of my 30s. My body's done this twice already, and I will be going through a pregnancy while having 2 small boys with a hell of a lot of energy. Both boys came out early. Dorian was 36, Jude was 37. We had to evict her. I was induced at 39 weeks, which was a new experience. I wanted to do it naturally because I did it naturally with Dorian, and then I had an epidural with Jude, and I did not have a good experience with epidural with Jude, so I was kind of nervous. However, being induced is a whole other ballpark, and that shit hurts, and the time frame is escalated. So I'm gonna put in some pictures here to kind of give you a real quick recap of my baby's story. Journey, which is my little girl. The best and the hardest thing I have ever done so far in my life. She was induced. The labor was rough. I ended up getting the epidural. It actually was great because the contractions were literally back to back when I was unmedicated, and I couldn't catch my breath. So I didn't really have a choice. Things were going well. And then we came home. For the first couple of weeks, it was okay, and then it wasn't. She just would scream cry at night, and she'd be scream crying for hours, and we weren't sure what was going on. We took her to the doctor, and this is like a span over a few weeks. First, I had a feeling it was the formula or the breast milk because I was trying to pump. And I thought, well, maybe she has a lactose intolerance for the milk allergy because Dorian had that. And we switched the formula. I stopped breastfeeding. We switched the formula to a special one. I thought it was getting better. And then it just came back, and she would scream, cry, and she would not want to be laid down. I'm telling you, it was the worst time of my life. Nobody could help us. No one could hold her. I couldn't stand somebody else holding her and her screaming. I would have rather me hold her and screaming. I was on edge. David was on edge. I would have to literally, one of us would have her in the front pack the entire time. She just was so unhappy, and I didn't know why. And then we thought maybe it was GERD, and she was having acid reflux because they're well, every time we tried to lay her down, she would freak out, and they're well, maybe the acid reflux is coming up. So we had to start holding her upright while feeding her and keeping her up for 30 minutes and doing all this extra stuff. She's had to be on medication, daily medication at night for it since she was a couple months old. We thought that was the problem. We thought that was it, and it cleared up a little bit, and then it came back again, and every night would take hours to put this child to bed. And David and I are what the did we do? Why did we do this? And just a lot of thoughts that you feel really bad about when you're going through a baby that has colic. Definitely had postpartum depression, and I was a short fuse. I just wasn't happy. My body, I also think it was from the hormone drop of after giving birth and then not being on any medication. So my body altering to its regular state without being on meds. And then dealing with Shelby and the stress of it, and just having to go about our daily life with the boys and like figure it out, and put everybody and everything had to be on the back burner. Like Shelby had to be the main focus all the time, and it was exhausting. I didn't like her. I'm gonna be honest. I did not like my baby. I loved her, but I did not like her for months. And I just like, I felt so bad, but like a part of me just regretted it. Like, why did I do this to myself? You know, why did I do this to our situation? Like, this is so hard. And I kept telling myself, like, it's not gonna last forever. Like, there's obviously something wrong. You know, there's definitely something wrong, and we gotta figure it out. But I felt so lost, and I didn't know what to do, and it was putting a strain on everything. And David and I were trying really hard not to fight, and it was a lot. But one day, one of my friends actually suggested taking her to a chiropractor. She said that she had a girlfriend that her baby was the same way, and she took her to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor like basically fixed her baby. And I was like, I am at the point I will try anything. And I found a pediatric chiropractor over here in this town over. And wow, like that is what fixed Shelby. I'm a straight out the gate. That is what fixed my baby. 1000%. I do think she had a milk allergy, and I do think she has GERD. But with the chiropractor, I found out that she had a lot of tension in the back of her head. And after talking to her about it, we figured out that when she was a day old and I was holding her, she lifted her head really quickly and held her head up for a few seconds and then dropped her head. And I remember thinking, wow, you're really strong. But it was just like a reflex of hers, and the muscles in her neck were not ready to hold up that kind of weight, and so she strained them. So she was in pain a lot. So I think when she laid down, she was putting pressure on the neck, and because of that strain, it went down her back into her like lower back area and like the pelvis area. And apparently, I don't remember the terminology, but there is like something that connects the two that has a lot to do with like rest and digestion and sleep, because she also wasn't pooping regularly, which was freaking us out. And she did not crack my baby. She just would like put her hands on her head and like put pressure points and kind of massage it, and then do like these rolls with her, like hold her butt and her legs and kind of do these pelvis rolls. And she said what would happen is when we would do that with the pressure points, it was like opening up the pathway for spinal fluid to connect the two and send a better signal between the two to get everything working properly. And it was like night and day. Like the first day, like she's like, she'll be pooping more, she'll be sleepy. Just like, these are things to look out for that are normal, because her body's been in such a like fight or flight mode her entire little life that she finally feels comfortable. And she came home and she slept, but unfortunately, like we would see results and then she would kind of transgress because her body would start to tense again and she would go back into that fight or flight. So we had to take her multiple times, like 5 or 6 times over a couple of months, but it really did help. It did. She was still, even after that, she was still very fussy, but not scream crying. She's just always been a very like agitated baby. But she's so cute. She is so cute. Oh my gosh. I don't know how David and I made such a cute baby. I don't know. I don't know how we did that. Now she's 8 months. I feel like I just talked a lot of smack about my baby. Okay, so the next topic I want to cover is my new job. I was working up until I was pregnant remote, and then I gave birth and took 2 weeks off, and then I found out because of AI and the industry and stuff, that a lot of the projects that I was going to be working on were no longer happening, and I found myself without a job. I tried to stick it out for a while, just being a stay-at-home mom, but honestly, I was miserable. Like, props to you guys who are able, you know, moms, dads, whoever, are able to stay at home 24/7 with your kids and enjoy it. I did not. I love my children dearly, but I felt like I lost myself. Postpartum depression, I was trying to figure out new medication, I was stressed out with Shelby, I was feeling trapped, you know, Dorian had all his services still, like Jude was just, I was getting him diagnosed and figuring out what he needed to do, and I got him into see a psychologist, and so he's had his own path that actually helped a lot, but there was just like a chunk there that I just was like about to lose my mind and like, what am I gonna do? And so I started therapy. I actually started therapy because I was like, I'm just like, I'm depressed, I'm miserable, I'm overwhelmed, I'm not happy with the baby, I'm not happy with the situation, I'm just financially, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I felt like I needed guidance, and I finally opened up to my husband and was like, I need to try therapy. And it wasn't even, honestly, like, it wasn't even the therapy that helped, but it just like put myself in the mental space of like, okay, well, now we got to, what are the problems, what do we need to fix? And I maybe was in therapy a month, but I have the mentality that if there's a problem, I need to fix it. I am just more of a rational thinker in that sense. And I was just like, okay, well, these are the issues. How do I fix them to feel better? So I went back to the doctor and tried some new medication. And that was the first thing. I talked to them about the postpartum depression. So the medication that they decided to put me on now was for anxiety and depression, and not just anxiety. I brought in some new hobbies to kind of feel a little bit more like myself, because I feel like I gave up everything. Like, I gave up my entire life when I had this kid. And like, even when I was pregnant, because the pregnancy was so rough on me, I just, like, being older and just my joints and my back, like, it and then and then I didn't even mention the like postpartum hair loss was also a whole other reason why I was feeling like super depressed. Like, I would just wash my hair and like chunks would come out, and it just was to the point where I just stopped doing my hair. Like, I threw it up every day. I stopped getting ready. I was a hot mess. I'm telling you, I was a hot mess. I definitely was going through it. The last thing I needed to work on to get myself into a better headspace was money. Like, I had to figure out money, and I knew I needed to get out of the house. I needed to put distance between me and this house and these kids and the situation I had been living in and been miserable in. And I was like, I need to find myself again in some aspect. I felt bad, and I felt so guilty. Like, I felt so guilty thinking that way, because I'm like, I just had a baby. Like, I should be over the moon. Like, social media is always like, oh, you know, my birth journey, and oh, it's beautiful, and I have this little baby, and I'm just like, mine's defective. But I found a job. Actually, I found a job within a month. I had a few interviews, things were not looking well, and then I found a part-time job, an admin job here in Savannah. And what's cool is it's 30 hours a week. Or is it 30? No, 25. It's 25 hours a week, Monday through Friday, and I got to basically pick my times, which is great because I start work at 10 and I get out at 3. I decided I wasn't going to homeschool the boys, which was another huge struggle of mine that I was really struggling with, because I felt guilty, like like I was putting them on the back burner, but I was like, we need money and mom needs to be happy. And I couldn't homeschool them with Shelby screaming and Jude being, you know, rambunctious with having all this energy, and I couldn't do it. And that was just another hurdle I had to cross and another reason I felt depressed. And I signed Jude up for school. And David and I went back and forth a lot of like being nervous with having a new baby and sending Jude to public school for the first time and all the new germs and the sickness and stuff. But it got to the point where I was like, I can't do it. Like, I have to be honest with myself and with everybody, and I can't do it. I am not Superwoman. I cannot take on all of this as much as I want. As much as the internet looks perfect and all the women do all the things and all the moms and the dads, and I just couldn't. I was like, I have to be honest. And I put him in school, and honestly, it was the best decision. Like, I'm so happy I got him mental health. He got on some medication. And before people come at me about the medication, I was having a hard time dealing with that too, with the idea of it, because he's 5. But it got to the point where his lack of attention was so bad, I couldn't even teach him daily skills. And that's when I realized, like, this is a problem beyond just, like, this is, like, internal. Like, he actually needs help, and he's struggling, and it's not right for me to keep doing this and watch him struggle and not try to find a solution. And it's been a wonderful solution. We're still on the journey. We're still figuring it out, but it has helped tremendously. His attention at school, the potty training came easier, because I remember telling you guys I was struggling hard with that. He was able to focus more and calm down and actually, like, follow through the whole bathroom routine. He's able to play imaginatively and actually sit down, where before he couldn't. Like, the poor thing had so much energy, he could not sit still. Basically, I got Jude in school. I realized I couldn't homeschool Dorian. I got to a point with Dorian in the kindergarten curriculum that it was too hard, and I was like, I'm prioritizing life skills over book skills. And so he's still in ABA 30 hours a week, and I had to really tell myself, you know, this is what's right for him. You're not giving up by stopping the homeschool. It's just he's on a different path right now, and this is too advanced, and he needs to learn the pre-readiness skills first and life skills before he's able just to jump into a mainstream curriculum. And I had a lot of guilt on that, and that was a struggle. But it's been working out perfectly, and I am able to the mornings are hella hectic now, but I am able to get up with the boys, get Jude ready for school, David gets up with the baby, get the lunch ready, and then he brings her down, and I take Jude to the bus. Before it's gotten really cold here, I used to take Dorian and Shelby on a walk. And then my friend that was watching Jude actually watches Shelby now. And then I go to work from 10 to 3. And I am able to have some sense of independence, be out of the house, be around fellow coworkers that I enjoy talking to. I joined a book club. I've discovered Libby, and I have been listening to a ton of audiobooks. David and I figured out a plan on how to take turns with Shelby at night. So now we switch days. So whoever goes down with Shelby will put her to bed and stay in there with her, because she does not stay asleep. She struggles. And then the other person bathes the boys and puts them to bed, and then we have the night off that we can either hang at the house, do whatever we want, or we can go out and just, you know, do the night is ours to do whatever, which has been so helpful, because we would both be in there with Shelby struggling and, like, in the dark with our headphones on trying to watch our phones, and I'm like, why are we doing this? It has helped tremendously. And that's when I realized, when we start taking turns, of I want to do YouTube again. I'm ready now. I think I have a little bit more flexibility in my routine and my life just to get this going. And so I decided to pick it back up, and I started, I posted about it, and then I just got overwhelmed, and I never did it, but I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now. I'm gonna be honest, I don't foresee my channel being exactly like it was, because honestly, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do those videos. They're not fun for me. I want to make videos that make me happy and that I look forward to. I don't want to clean. I don't know why I thought maybe that was my niche. It's not my niche. I hate it. I hate cleaning. There might be some cleaning if I'm doing like a day in the life, but I'm not doing cleaning videos. Okay, those are done. I will be doing book videos because I love books, and maybe, I don't know, like a monthly check-in. I did create a book journal, which I will do a video on that, maybe for like my let's jump into books, like what I've read so far over the year, and goals, and how I set my book journal up, and like, it's just, I love it so much. It has really saved me, and it's just been a small little project, and I don't know why, like it saved me. Like, it's given me a purpose. Like, as stupid as that sounds, maybe it doesn't sound stupid, but it's like, I've gotten into reading, and like a lot of my friends read. I got into the book club. It's just, gives me something else to look forward to that is only for me, that I do for me, that has nothing to do with my husband, my house, my kids, nothing. And I've just decided, you know, one of the goals I set for myself this year is I want to read all of my physical TBR books, and I'm not allowed to buy any books until I finish all of them. However, if the books are free or they're a gift, it does not count. So with Libby, and I have to do audiobooks right now because I can listen to them a lot, like in the car, or if I'm working on certain projects at work where I can just kind of, you know, do them simultaneously. And I got more work for my remote job. So that was another reason why I kind of postponed coming back to YouTube, because I was like, oh, I gotta work now, I need to prioritize that. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not just gonna prioritize that and like put this to the side. Like, this for me is a hobby, and it's something I enjoy and I want to learn, and so I need to learn how to prioritize this. And so I actually signed up for a class with Udemy where I can learn Final Cut Pro better. So hopefully as my videos come out, you'll see, like, ideally my editing skills progress, because I think it's fun. It's like an art. Like, this is not only a hobby, but it's like crafting. Like, I get to make something and be creative and put my own personality into it, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I think I need to be more authentic, and I need to be myself, and I'm not just a mom. Some channels on here are just like motherhood, and I thought that was me, and it's not. Like, I love my children, but I'm also a person, and I want this channel to be for me. And if I decide that they come in, okay. If I decide I want to talk about books or like coffee or whatever, like, I don't want to create limitations. And this is stuff I put on myself. Like, this is nothing like, well, in the internet, and I see, and like, I would think like, oh, what are ways to gain followers or ways to gain views? And like, I don't want to think that way. Like, I just want to make stuff that's fun and stuff that I like. Literally rambled for almost 40 minutes, and I realized I never introduced myself. Okay, so it's been a year, so let's just roll back a little bit, and I'll give you a quick bio before I end this video, because this is going to be a long one. My name's Nikki. I have 3 children. I have Dorian, who is 7, Jude is 5, and Shelby is 8 months. Dorian's on the spectrum. I have videos that I like to do for him. I do want to do those as well. It's going to be a little harder though, because I'm not at home. But I do, even if it's small recaps in my video, because I love him and I'm so proud of him, and I would love to be a part of the autism community for other people as well. He's so humble and genuine, and I just love him so much. And I live in Savannah, Georgia. I live with my husband, my 3 kids. I have a dog. I have 3 cats. The dog's name is Bowie. The cats are Sophie, Salem, and Figaro. I'm glad I'm starting. It's scary and it's hard and it's nerve-wracking, and I just want my videos to be perfect, and I think, well, I can't do it yet. Like, I don't know how to record well enough, or I don't know how to edit well enough. And you know what? Like, screw it. Like, if this video turns out like shit, it turns out like shit. But that's okay. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me in this video. It was a long one. I'm glad I was able to get you caught up, so that way moving forward, we're all on the same pace and I can start planning my videos. I'm not gonna pick a schedule because I'm also learning how to edit in the middle of doing this, but I will try to make videos as well as possible and do the best I can. And until next time, thanks for watching.